Did you ever had a belief about yourself or others that then ended up to be true? I guess that after that happened, you said to yourself, oh my god, I knew it. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're not a magician and you're not able to predict the future. You're probably just self-sabotaging. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bri and I am a pre-qualified psychologist. Today we're going to talk about the Pygmalion effect, which most of you will know by the name of self-fulfilling prophecies. We are going to talk about why it happens, what are the implications, and what we can do to prevent it. This video is going to be divided into chapters, which you can find here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Chapter 1. Pygmalion in the classroom. In 1968, a psychologist named Rosenthal went into an elementary school and spoke to the teachers. He told them that he had developed a very special test that allowed to identify bloomers, so children whose performance could improve throughout the year. Him and his colleagues administered the test and then gave to the teachers the name of the bloomers. The secret was that the test was not able to identify the bloomers, it was just a normal test, and that the names that the Rosenthal gave to the teachers were just random names, were just children picked randomly within the sample. Rosenthal came back to the school a year later, and what he found was that the children that he identified as bloomers had increased their performance 1 year later. But if the kids were just picked randomly, how is that possible? Well, according to Rosenthal, after the teacher knew that these kids were bloomers, started treating them differently, maybe encouraging them, giving them more challenging tasks, praising them and increasing their self-esteem, whilst treating the other children as they had always treated them. Rosenthal called this effect the Pygmalion effect, after the Greek myth of Pygmalion, an architect that fell in love with a statue he built and that was then turned into a woman by the goddess Aphrodite, following Pygmalion's request. Chapter 2. What does all of this mean? This experiment teaches us a very important thing. That is, that our beliefs about ourselves and others shape the reality around us. I have already discussed this in my previous video on attachment styles, which I'm going to leave somewhere here. But the concept is that our brain does not like to be wrong, and she does not like to change ideas. This is because every time we change idea, our neurons have to completely change their position, and they'd rather not do so. So instead of accepting that we might be wrong about a situation, our brain will make sure that we act in a way that confirms our beliefs. The more ingrained is our belief, the more difficult it will be for us to get rid of it. Let's take an example. Let's talk about Irene. Irene is an elementary school teacher and she is meeting a new class today. She has never met any of the children in this class, but she has met their parents at a parent event that was organized by the school. At this event, she met Luke's parents and she didn't really like them. She thought that they had bad manners and that they were not very interested in Luke's education. At the same event, he met Chris's parents. Chris's parents are doctors, they are very polite, and they spent a lot of time talking with her. So before meeting the kids, she already started making an assumption about them. Chris must be a very intelligent kid because he's well supported by his parents. Whilst Luke, well, considering that his parents have bad manners and are not very interested in him, he must not be very good in school. When she meets Luke and Chris, she starts treating them differently. She tries to encourage Chris. She gives him more challenging assignments, praise him when he does them well, and when he doesn't do so well, she says, well, it's okay, you can do better next time. She continually praises him, and in this way, she increases his self-esteem. Chris therefore thinks that he's a smart kid. He will go back home, he will study a lot, and he will be always prepared for class. He will do very well in his exams, thus reinforcing the belief of the teacher that he is a very good student, and thus starting the cycle all over again. On the other hand, Luke does not get a lot of encouragement from Irene. Irene calls him out whenever he's joking with his classmates and responds harshly when he makes a mistake. So Luke starts believing that he must not be very good in school and that actually, since he's not a very good student, the only good thing that he can achieve at school is to make his friends laugh by joking with them during the class. For this reason, he stops studying and he starts performing bad academically. Again, reinforcing Irene's belief about him and starting the cycle all over again. But Chris and Luke have not only reinforced Irene's expectations, they have also reinforced their own expectation that they started developing about themselves. Can you imagine the effect that this could have on a lifetime? For example, until a while ago, scientific subjects at universities were dominated by males, whilst humanistic subjects were dominated by females. For a long time, we believed that this was just because men and females liked different kinds of subjects. But what if the reason why men and female choose these different subjects in universities is not because they are actually more talented in them, but because for their entire life they have been told that men are good at sciences whilst women are good in humanistic subjects. This could have shaped the children's belief about themselves and therefore their choices in life. By the way, if you are enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a thumbs up or leave a comment, as it really helps the algorithm apparently. Chapter 3. How the Pygmalion effect can impact our relationship with ourselves and with others. From all of this, we can take that the Pygmalion effect has implication on both the perception that we have of others and the perception that we have of ourselves. When it comes to our relationship with others, we could self-sabotage our relationships by letting our beliefs about others impact our actions towards them. So, for example, if you have an anxious attachment style and you have a fear of abandonment, you might start acting in a very clingy way towards the other. This might result in them feeling overwhelmed and rejecting you. This will make your fear come true and probably make you say, "Oh, I knew that people would abandon me. Everybody will always abandon me." Thus reinforcing this belief and making you act in the same way in the next relationship. Again, more on attachment styles in my video. And that is not only true in our personal relationships, but also in our work relationships. If you are a leader and you have negative beliefs about your employees, you might lower their self-esteem unconsciously and act in a way that might lead them to underperform, which can have an effect on their job, but also on your job as the leader. But the Pygmalion effect can also have an impact on the beliefs that we hold about ourselves. This is because our limiting beliefs might lead us to avoid certain situations instead of facing them, and thus leaving us stagnant without the possibility to grow. I'm going to give a personal example here. When I was a child, I was told by multiple teachers that I was not very good at sciences, but I was very good at writing. For this reason, I also chose humanistic subjects in high school. And honestly, I hated sciences. I did not like studying it. I got very frustrated and I just thought that I wasn't good at it and that no amount of study could change that. Needless to say that this behavior just led me to get bad grades. I then went to study psychology and I learned about the Pygmalion effect. And I started wondering whether my hate towards any scientific subject was due to some limiting beliefs about myself more than to my actual ability to perform well in sciences. So I started approaching the subject differently and I actually started to enjoy it. I became so interested in biology and neuroscience that I'm actually thinking of getting some further qualification in neuropsychology later in life. As you can see, I was self-sabotaging by caging myself into these negative beliefs about my abilities. And this leads me to the next chapter. Chapter 4. What should we do? Given that the Pygmalion effect is an unconscious bias, what can we do to avoid it? How do we avoid an unconscious bias? Is it possible for us to just have positive beliefs about ourselves and others and then having some positive self-fulfilling prophecies come true? Well, according to Rosenthal, it is not that easy. Because the truth is, it will happen that ourselves or others might not be good at something. So this is not about believing that everybody is good at everything, but this is about treating everybody as a learner. The key here is to understand that you might not be good at something, but if you work hard enough, you can develop any skill that you want. And this is not me saying this, is neuroscience. In fact, a while ago, scientists have discovered that the brain is plastic. What this means is that our brain changes depending on our experiences and our skills and abilities. And actually, this plasticity lasts for our entire life. So what this means is that at any point in life, everybody can become very skilled at anything they put their mind into. If you think that you're not good at something, if you work a little bit every day, you will get to a point where you can master that skill. This is actually mind-blowing, and it can change our perspective on talent as well. What if talented people are not born with any particular gifts, but they were just told earlier in their life that they were good at the thing, and then started working very hard to the point that they started mastering that skill later in life? In conclusion, the Pygmalion effect teaches us that our beliefs about ourselves and others can actually shape the reality around us. By treating everybody as a learner, we will foster a growth mindset that will allow us to become good at whatever we want to be good at. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel to avoid missing future videos. I will leave you some references in the description box below, where you will also find my social and my website. If you like this video, you might also like my video on how to master self-control and be successful helpful. I will leave it somewhere here or on the end screen. And that is really all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!